Welcome. Thank you for being prompt and your attention and showing up on time. My name is Pam Duda. I'm going to be facilitating the You Gotta Coach program for you for the fall semester for NORWESCAP. I created this program about 3.5 years ago for NORWESCAP specifically. I'm an advisory council member of the Career Life and Transition for Women, so I've been with them probably 7-8 years now. A little bit about myself. My entire career has been in corporate up until about 3.5 years ago when I started my own business, primarily in pharmaceutical. My technical background is finance. But I went through 3 career changes. So I'm on my 3rd career, so it is possible to reinvent yourself. One of the reasons why I introduced this program to Pat and to NORWESCAP is what I was finding as an advisory council member in the programs. I was finding that the women, yourselves, the clients, were receiving the information that you kind of needed, be it computer skills or how to interview or stuff like that. But I did find that some of the women, it was almost like they had a bundling. They had their whole arms full of stuff, and then they stood there and they said, now what do I do? And for some people, you need a little bit more support in that sense. So I had introduced the program to provide some more support services. This is supplemental to what NORWESCAP already provides you. And so what the program is supposed to give back is 12 weeks, which is 12 hours of coaching time to the women. And what that means is that you get undivided attention from a certified coach that's going through intensive training to help you move forward in a goal or aspect of your life, okay? So what I want to do today is very quickly introduce you to the program through a set of slides that I have prepared for you to kind of introduce you to this. This is an orientation meeting, so you can get comfortable with what's in store. I would say that pay please particular attention to the responsibilities that are the action items that are necessary to participate in the program, because even though it's only 12 weeks, it's intensive, okay? It's going to require a lot of your time. And I want to make sure at the end of this presentation, I know you filled out surveys, but I want to make sure at the end of the presentation, you're still committed to the program. Okay? So think about that. It's okay if you're not. If you, at the end of this, you go, oh my God, that's a little bit too much for me to do right now, that's fine. We would prefer that you be honest with yourself and with us to do that. Okay? So before I get started in my slides, just some housekeeping items. If you have cell phones, please put them on vibrate or turn them off, just out of consideration of all of us when we get going. The other thing is, too, this is a very confidential meeting. Now, I told you that I am videotaping it, and it is primarily for the clients who could not make it to the session today. It will be uploaded into a secure site on my website, so nobody else will see it, only members only will be able to see it, which is the participants in this program, okay? So I want to make sure that you're clear on that. The other thing that I want to ask of you, a favor of you, rather than dictating it, is this program is mine. I created the You Gotta Coach program. It is not NORWESCAP's. I can literally take this program and go to any organization with it. It is trademarked. Okay, it's a registered trademark. So the materials that you have in front that I've passed out to you, and the materials that you're going to be seeing, are mine. So I would ask that you utilize it to your benefit and do not share it with other people, organizations, as such. Use it as a confidential program that it's set up to be. That's all I'm asking your favor on, okay? And the last thing before we get started is please don't hesitate. Raise your hand, participate. Something's not clear, there's never any stupid question. I really want you to get a good sense as to what this program has to offer, because I want to make sure you get the most out of it, okay? Pat and NORWESCAP and myself are very committed to your success in moving this forward and getting you to the next level, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, for you. Okay, so thank you again for being here, and we'll get started now. One other thing I did want to, since I'm going to try to keep this to an hour as much as possible, can I have a timekeeper? Somebody that can tell me, just raise your hand when it's maybe 10 of 2. You do that? Yeah. And then if there's any open items, that, we have put on the table. You wouldn't mind doing that too, Terry? Just, that's what that piece of paper there is for. Okay. Thank you very much. Terry is from our NORWESCAP Center here in Flemington. They're a great proponent, obviously, of the program. And we have Deb joining us today, who is from the United Way. She's a special person because United Way has also offered us a grant to be able to provide this program. So it's the first time this year, and I'm really excited about it because we got to that point. So thank you for joining us, Deb. All right, so I know that was a lot of blah, 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 but we're going to move on, I promise. Okay, so the next slide, please. All righty. So the power of coaching. Now, I have handed out to you a packet, and some of you have already gone through it, and that's fine. That's okay. In your packet, you will notice there's a quick business card, so if you need to reach me directly, it's there. You have a copy of the presentation that I'm giving today. Please make notes on it. If I make a comment that you want to, please use that for note-taking. Then I have some other documents, some attached documents we'll go over that's associated to the program. It's kind of like requirements, expectations that we'll walk through towards the end, okay? So the power of coaching. So what we're going to cover is, what is coaching and who is it for? It's not for everybody. You need to understand the definition of what it is and what it means. Key elements of coaching that create sustainable, powerful results. What I call the coaching formula for success, and our next steps. Okay, next slide. So what is coaching? Okay, coaching is about moving forward. It's about being present today and moving to the next level. We all have our baggage. We all come from different backgrounds. We have all different experiences, and we all have stuff in the past. We do. And the past will rear its head, and that's okay. But what coaching's about is how do we stay positive in the present and move to the future, regardless of what other obstacles or stuff we have that we're bringing along. In coaching, we try not to address problems, but we try to address more opportunities and choices. It's more about how you're going to overcome certain things, and it's more about attitude. Advice and judgment is never given in coaching, okay? It's not about right or wrong, and it's not about telling you what to do or how we're going to fix it. It's more about showing you or giving you the support that you need to decide how you want to move something forward. You're the expert in your own life. The coaches aren't. They're just a supplement. I like to express coaches and coaching as they allow you, they're like a conduit. They're a third-party conduit for you to have kind of a third-party conversation with yourself. You're allowed to kind of step out of your stuff and kind of be able to now say, okay, what's really going on with me and how I can move that forward. So coaching helps you in that process. And coaches' experiences have little or nothing to do with you. Now, you might choose a coach that has a similar background or has had a certain experience because there's a familiarity or comfortableness, that's fine. But they're not going to be coaching you based on their experiences, they're going to be coaching you on your experiences. Okay? Next slide, please. So, and that just stays at this one. So what is coaching? Coaching, like I said before, it's a support, it's an assistance of overcoming obstacles for you to achieve results and move forward. And also to find ways to build success and to find some level of control or happiness or fulfillment in your life, okay? Can you go to the next slide, please? Just keep pushing. There we go. So consulting. So I want to give you some coaching comparisons because sometimes people use certain words synonymously, and it's not the same. Consulting. Sometimes I'll hear, because I have a coaching and a consulting business, okay? They're two different services. Consulting is where they are experts on the subject matter. They'll come in to either an organization or a situation and they're meant to fix something, okay, a process or help people come up with a solution on something. But when they walk through the door, they are being paid to fix something, okay? You can hit enter again. Mentoring, oftentimes this gets blurry because people might say, oh, you know, I'm mentoring slash coaching, I'm coaching slash mentoring. You could be doing both at the same time, but I want to make sure it's clear that mentors are more like role models. They have their own experiences that other people are trying to emulate, okay? These mentors have already paved the way of a line of success in that area of expertise or business. You as a mentee would kind of come behind them in their path and try to figure, because they've cleared the way, so they've done kind of some of the hard work, and they're just showing you or telling you how you can go about getting to a certain level of success by go talk to that person, be part of that network. So they're telling you kind of what that roadmap looks like. Coaching's not like that. Coaching, rather than telling you what that is, they ask you what you feel that looks like. Because you do have the answers within yourself. You just don't know it sometimes, okay? Next slide, next entry. Therapy, okay. These are experts to deal with why. These are the folks that help clients that might be caught up with their baggage in the past. Something that was traumatic or dramatic, or something that just keeps coming around and around and around, that it's hard to put in perspective or move on. Oftentimes they say therapy is taking dysfunctional and trying to make it into functional. Again, it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just a therapy, a modality by which people are dealing with some of their stuff from the past. Coaches work closely with therapists in this program and a lot of programs because there is a fine line sometimes when people are starting to move forward and change some behaviors and make progress that, you know, you get a lot of the past that slips in, and if you get a little bit too caught up in the loop, sometimes the therapists need to come in to help assist in that area. Coaches primarily are looking at everybody as functional beings and saying, okay, pick a goal, and we together will move forward and walk forward to get you to that next level. It's all about awareness and behaviors and being understanding to yourself of what's creating your style, what makes you happy, what's contributing to those behaviors. And what's your triggers? Oftentimes, you know, we'll be in situations when we'll freak out on something and you'll sit there and go, why did I freak out on that? You know, it's really stopping and saying, why did I freak out on that? Rather than just continuing to go on and on and on. That's progress. Because then you'll find out that you might be feeling like, well, they think I'm stupid, or they don't think I have the capability, or whatever that might be. So coaches help you get through that. And the last one, best friends. I hope we all have best friends because, you know, they're a good sounding board. They show a level of support that in other aspects of our life we might not get. But they're usually not trained professionals in your life. They've heard about your life, but they're coming from their experiences and their perspective. And oftentimes they might be a bit judgmental because it's coming from their experiences, not yours. Coaching is non-judgmental. Coaching provides a safe environment, a confidential environment for you to really be you, okay? Any questions so far up to that point? Am I going too fast? Okay. I'm trying to do a balance of keeping it going and giving you the information. Okay, so who is coaching for? This is where I really want you to hunker down inside and ask yourself this and really consider this, because at the end of this presentation, I want to make sure that coaching's for you, okay? Coaching is the courage to move forward and not dwell on the past. You have to find it within you to constantly, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to sit there going, oh, what was I thinking, or what do I do? You're going to have those moments. We all do every day. But you have to have the wherewithal and the attitude to want to keep pushing forward. Willingness to make an investment in yourself. Okay, oftentimes, you know, we're advocates for others, but sometimes we're not always advocates for ourselves. You know, oh yeah, I'll get to the gym next week after, you know, Sammy gets to class. Or this is an investment in yourself, okay? And it's going to take time, but there's a lot of great rewards from it too. Be open to new ideas and approaches. Your coaches might introduce a new concept or approach or something that might trigger a fear in you that, oh my God, I've never done that before, like go in front of, you know, a group of 10 people and make a presentation that you've maybe never done before, but it's building your attributes or your skill sets to be able to present yourself to others to help you get over maybe some of your fears in dealing with people in a global way. Committed and accountable for your own results. Coaches are not going to tell you what to do in this process, okay? If you say, I don't know, what should I do? You can say, what do you think? Or what are my options, or what do you think my options are? But they're not going to give you the roadmap to reach the goal that you choose in this program, okay? They're going to actually ask you, what do you think? Okay? So nobody's here to fix you, okay? Because you're not meant to be fixed, okay? We're not trying to fix you. You're all beautiful, perfect beings, okay? They're just going to be, what can I do to help you move to the next step of your goal? So if you think you're coming in and somebody's going to fix something, the program's not for you right now, okay? Stay persistent when setbacks occur. Cry, beat the wall, you know, scream in a pillow, but there's going to be moments that, you know, maybe something's really come across that you feel, wow, why is this not happening? But if you stay persistent and stay with the attitude that, you know, I mean, but if you're looking at it like, oh good, 10 weeks are done, I only got 2 more weeks, phew, coaching might not be for you either right now. You got to enjoy it too. Enjoy the moment. This is an experience. And incorporate passion and fun during the process. Now, these coaches, I know a lot of them that have signed up, they're going to try to do their best to make it as fun for you as possible, because when you're having fun, that's when you really learn and that's when you really grow, okay? If you're going to look at this as it's another thing to do in your life or another thing you got to squeeze in, you might want to reconsider too doing the program this year. And again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing this program. It's just, there's going to be some commitment here and a lot of accountability. So it's important that you consider those things.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do the coaches work for you? Are they new?
Thank you for asking. That's one thing I wanted to introduce and I didn't. This is a volunteer program. I am part of an international network of coaches, certified coaches. We've gone through quite a bit of training to get to this point. And I've actually reached out to my network to see what coaches wanted to participate in doing this. And I have to tell you, I get goosebumps every time I say this. I got such a big response back from them that all across the United States. I had somebody from France and somebody from Canada reach out and want to be part of the program. So a short answer is no, they don't work for me. We are all part of the same network, and we're volunteering our services collectively to not only continue to grow as coaches and train, you know, continue our training and stuff by working live with people, but it's also to give back to our communities. And so, yeah, it's amazing how many coaches are out there that really want to help. So one of the reasons why we kind of got a misstep with the timing on the schedule this year is because we got more coaches than we anticipated. And so I had to go back to NORWESCAP, which is probably a good thing to have, go back and say, we need more clients. So Pat's going around scrambling trying to get more clients. So this is why we've kind of had this acceleration, and there's been a little delay here and that. But that's good news. That's good news because it's a nice thing that's happening, that we're creating. So thank you for asking that question. It was something I wanted to introduce with those coaches. Okay, next slide. All right, so the key elements of coaching. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. Think about that. I had to read that 5 or 6 times before it sunk in. And I'm like, that's true, because don't they say the definition of insanity is you keep doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result? Well, basically, I guess this is kind of similar. So what coaching is trying to provide is, we call it active listening. We as human beings are really not designed to listen well. It's all about sitting there going, oh God, I hope they shut up pretty soon because I want to share my next thought with them. And you know, you might miss the boat of actually what they were trying to share. So coaches are trained, intensively trained, to active listen. And what that means is they are going to ask you open-ended questions. It's not going to be like, you know, how was your day? You're like, was your day good or bad? You know, and then you say, oh, good or bad. It's going to be like, so what made you consider doing that? Kind of put you in a different frame on how you want to answer these questions. Because what they're trying to do is work from the inside out. We in society tend to work from the outside in. It's all about results. But, you know, we all start with the third thing here, thoughts, feelings, and actions. In our society, we're always in the actions or the feelings, right? We're always here, but we always forget, like, well, what made me kind of get to that point? We always forget about the thoughts, right? Thoughts become things. Choose good ones, you know? So coaching is going to provide you an area, space of active listening. And they're going to ask you some questions. You're going to be like, well, that was a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a while, you know, type of thing. Like, how do you define success? What are your values? When was the last time you created a goal that you succeeded? There's going to be things that are going to really make you think. Limiting beliefs and fears are huge because those are our triggers. Those are what we go, ugh, I can't do that. Because you know the one person that gets in our way the most?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. Because we say, oh, I can't do that, I won't do that, because it all comes from here. And your coaches will be like, well, what about that? Why can't you do that? And maybe it's just take a little baby step. Maybe it's not making that presentation in front of 10 people. Maybe it's setting up a camera like this and do it with your cat, you know, and see how you look in a video film. I don't know. But they'll find ways to be able to identify what those core beliefs and fears are in those. But really the key part of coaching is the thoughts, feelings, actions. Like I said, my perception of life right now is we kind of go from backwards, forwards, in the sense that everything's about action. You know, like, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do lately? What'd you do for me lately? Do. But we often forget to say, who do you want to be? Who are you being when you're doing that, right? I think it's interesting, because I'm also a college coach and a career coach. Oftentimes, you know, the parents are already down the line trying to get them into college and stuff, but they forget to ask them, what do you want to be? You know, not what do you want to do, what do you want to be? And that's where the passion comes in, that's where the alignment and all those things. So if you're misaligned in life, you're always going to have stress. You're always going to find a way to go, oh, I can't do that kind of thing. You know, I find it often in careers because, you know, being a career coach and having 3 careers myself, although I chose a career that I was very good at, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So if you don't like it, you're not going to be at the top of your game, right? So you got to find things that, you know, that work for you. So that's basically what coaching is going to provide for you, is to kind of work from the inside out, okay? You're going to probably be at this going, okay, I got a goal, we're ready to go, and you're going to be like, why are we always back here? Why are we always talking? Because a lot of your growth is coming from the inside out, okay? The softer side of series, I like to call it. Okay, so I'm going to call this the WIFM process. This is the formula for success, and this is where you have to check off at the end of this presentation that you're 100% on board on the WIFM process. Usually it means what's in it for me. Well, what's in it for you is what's in it for me. So the first W means your willingness to take the next steps for change in your life, okay? So it really is a conscious attitude decision. I'm ready. Next one. Oh, sorry, next one. The I, what I like to call investigating your baseline. Assessment of who you are being today, and I'll go through more of the assessment that I am providing you to be able to do that. It's a really cool thing. The next one is identify the area of life you want to work on. Who do you want to be? Not what do you want to do, who do you want to be? Because you can be doing stuff, but behind the scenes you can be like, well, who am I being doing this? Because if you don't really like what you're doing, then it comes out that, well, I'm creating stress not only for myself, but the people and loved ones around me as well. Formulating an action plan, that's working with your coach, okay? And really trying to identify, okay, what's the actions I have to take to get to that next step. And then the M is making it happen, is actually showing up and doing it. And sometimes it's difficult, but there's a lot of great rewards and success. Okay, so I mentioned the assessment, taking a personal inventory. Now, I don't know how familiar you are. Like I said, I come from corporate America, and I've done a lot of what's called personality assessments. The one that I like most is called DISC. It's D-I-S-C, and basically what I'm introducing to you in order to kind of assess your awareness of yourself is DISC. And what that does It's, people say, oh, it's a personality profile, but really it's assessing how you make decisions, how you process information, how you communicate with others. And so it's a survey. It's like an online survey that I'll be sending you. And it's like 90 questions, but it should be quick. It should take you about 15 minutes. And what happens is the report that comes back to me on you is, where are you usually in your fight or flight mode? Kind of where do you resonate most in your life? Again, this is no right or wrong. These are quadrants that introduce kind of a style, okay? And we have all of these characteristics. We do. We have all of them. It's just there's a certain one or two that we're primarily dominant in when things happen quickly and we have to react, okay? I'm not going to go into a lot of details in this right now, but when I finish the presentation, I'll explain to you how we're going to move forward with this. Has anyone heard of anything like this? I know Myers-Briggs is real hot out there. They have other social intelligence, emotional intelligence type ones. Like I said, I choose to use this one, and I'll explain a little bit more why when we go forward. But it's fun, it's educational, it's informational, but what's nice is you'll be able to apply it with your relationship with your coach as you're building your goals and stuff. But also when you are dealing with all sorts of relationships, be it professional, personal, interviewing skills. I use this a lot for interviewing skills to prepare candidates to go on to interviews. I've provided these, I've hired, I've fired people, so there's a lot of different uses for it, yes.
Is that shared with our coach as well then, at the assessment?
Yes, yes, thank you for that question, yes. Yes, this would be because it's what they're doing is they're helping you in this space, because if you choose a goal, and say if you're in one type of category and you kind of shy away from some certain characteristics in this and you're choosing a goal, this might come up to say, hey, well, there's other ways of kind of looking at it, so it gives them some information. Thank you for the question. Okay, let's get to the next steps. And I think I'm tracking pretty good here. So let's talk about the next steps. All right, so you've all completed your coaching survey. And Chrissy, I know we still need to talk. The duration is 3 months. It's not a hard stop 3 months. We're trying to allow you 12 weeks of services. You know, obviously, you're going to need to work that out with your coaches, what that looks like, because I know we're going to get into Thanksgiving and Christmas, so that gets a little hairy sometimes. But we have set up to secure you for 12 sessions. Your requirements, the first one is the ability to commit to the duration, because it is 12 weeks, and there are certain peripherals around that. The timeliness to your scheduled sessions. Now, according to the 20 people that signed up and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 that showed up, this might be an issue. But we need to clarify that, because in this coaching program, we have to make sure that you show up. And the accountability for the results, okay? So whatever you and your coach decide your goal is going to be, and I've had clients, their goal has changed 5 different times through the whole course of the program. That's okay. As long as you're mapping on something to move you forward, whatever that bigger picture is, that's what it's all about. I have a couple readiness workshops, and I'll ask you guys this at the end, but there's 2 free readiness workshops that I am going to be providing if necessary. Well, the one is Skype. I have to make sure that you all have the comfort level to use Skype. And the reason that is because we have a lot of remote coaches this year. We have people in Florida, we have people in California, we have people in Montana. Not all coaches are going to be able to be here, okay? So you have to have the availability, and you can also do telephone calls. I'm not saying you can't do phone sessions, but what I'm thinking is the first couple sessions, you want to see who you're dealing with. It's important to make that connection, because this whole coaching thing is about relationships. It's all about the right connection, okay? The other one is the DISC workshop. So you all, free of charge, get a link to the DISC assessment that I just showed you, okay? What I will do is I will set up a workshop to go over the results for all of the clients, to review the information so you know how to read it and stuff like that. I'm not trying to sound marketing at this point, but I want you to understand the impact of that. That's a $125 program, okay? You're getting it free of charge, thank you to United Way, okay? So I encourage all of you to participate in that, because not only is it gonna help you in the coaching program, it's gonna help you forward, okay? So these are kind of required, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And of course, the other thing, you gotta make the kickoff meeting in some way, shape, or form. I'm gonna do my best to also record the kickoff meeting, but the kickoff meeting is probably the most important of the whole program because the coaches will be there too. I'll have them some on Skype, I'm gonna have some online, I'm gonna have some sitting here, I'm gonna have some on the phone, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna do all of this, but it's where we all kind of get together, okay? So it's important that you make that meeting, and we're still trying to find a location. Yeah, it changed a little bit. Yeah, okay. All right, so let me just summarize the action items, and this is why you have a hard copy of this. These are these things that, and we're gonna, unfortunately, we've lost a couple weeks in the middle of the program, and that being because we had a lot more coaches and we had to get more clients. We're trying to stay on schedule, so we lost a week in our matching process. So if you are committed to proceed with this program, you're gonna need to, it's only gonna be the next couple weeks that you're gonna need to really step it up and get your materials in to start the program. Otherwise, we're just gonna lag and it's not gonna happen. So the action items are to attend the Skype. If you don't, the thing with the Skype is I just wanna make sure everybody's familiar with Skype and you can at least create an account for yourself. So if you and your coach do decide to do a Skype thing, you're familiar with I can Skype. Doesn't mean you have to go to a workshop to learn it, but if you don't know it, I'm willing to provide a workshop to do it. Now I understand, her name just escaped me, but she provides the technology.
Trustee?
Yes, and she goes over Skype, and I know, and from what I understand, some of you have participated. That's the last that I heard. If not, we can talk more about that. But you can sign up for a Skype workshop if you feel it's necessary. DISC is required. It's you know, I mean, if you're like, I don't really want to do it, well, I'm not going to force it. You know, I'm not going to force something free down your throat. Really, I'm not. But it's something I think that would be beneficial if you want to sign up for. So consider that. Obviously, attend the kickoff meeting. Then from there, once you get matched with your coaches, you're going to select a SMART goal to accomplish and track. What's a SMART goal? It's a SMART goal. I don't know what a SMART goal is. SMART goal is, it's specific, okay? It's measurable, it's achievable, it's reasonable, and it's timely. And what does that mean? And the coach will help you with that. Because it'd be like, well, I want to lose 20 pounds before I'm 50. You know, it's not as specific as you want it to be. The measurability is, okay, well, how much time do you have to do it? Is that really achievable? I don't know, you know, is that a lot of weight for yourself or not a lot of weight? So it has to be a little bit, it has to be a lot focused in order for you to feel that you can attain it. And sometimes what I find is the clients, they come up with a goal and it's pretty big. And then all of a sudden they go, and the coaches are able to say, what's the first thing that is necessary for you to do to start that? And then that first thing becomes your goal. So it's like taking it into little bitty parts, if there's a lot of parts to it, okay? Show prepared for meetings, and that's your meetings with your coaches and also for our the meetings here collectively. Participate in check-in calls. Check-in calls, I run November and December once per month, and what I'm doing is that I'm allowing for the client group and the coach group once a month to just call in and say, how's it going? It's to share information. You know, what's going well, what's not going well, you know, how can we help each other? So the clients get their own check-in, because, you know, you can sit and say, oh my God, you know, I don't like these coaches, or what are you guys thinking? Or you might be like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. But with the coaches, it's more for them, it's more their education, and how can they take in some other coaching processes, or what they can do to help maybe in a certain topic area. So it turns out to be, you know, a nice networking forum to share information. They're not required, but they're highly recommended, obviously. And I'll do my best to try to not videotape them, but to record them as well, so people can call in. The three items that you definitely have to abide by is, there's a satisfaction survey, and one of the reasons why we're requiring it this year is because we do have a sponsor of United Way. We want to build our statistics so that we can move forward and start going to other organizations and say, look, this is how we define success, this is the results of it, these are statistics, and those type of things to move it forward. So maybe United Way will help us next year. And then complete a goal achievement form, which is what you had started, what you said you were going to do, and what you ended up with, because that, it's not so much about, okay, check it off, they got a goal done. It's really not about that. It's really giving you the ability after 12 weeks to go back and go, wow, I did all that? Because oftentimes we don't spend time looking at all the great stuff, do we? We always like, oh, look at all that bad stuff, and you know, the good stuff doesn't have, like, it doesn't get enough precedence. So it's also to give you a pathway or a recipe by which you were able to achieve that goal, because really what coaching is about is shifting or changing some of the behaviors so then you can start replicating that in other parts of your life, and what works. And then attend the commencement meeting, which is, you know, coaches and clients get together for the hoorah and, you know, a celebration type thing. You get your little diplomas, you know, through your certification program, you know, through the coaching program. But it's just a fun celebration type thing. And again, I'll do my best to record that. So at this point, is there any questions before I go into the other documents? Yes?
Who matches up the clients with the coaches?
Thank you, I'm gonna get to that. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. You're asking some really good questions.
Well, I know you're on a time frame, so I'm limited.
Thank you into the segue. So, all right, so in your packet, there's 3 documents. The first one, if you pull out, please, is the timeline. And, you know, it's been revised a couple times. But basically, we're here, if you look at it, on October 15th, you know, the orientation meeting. So, what's going to happen now is, when you leave here, and if you are still looking to proceed with this program, what you will do, and I will give you this information in the next segment, is you are going to go online to my website. What I've done is I have a secure site for You Got a Coach program, primarily for members only, yourselves, to be able to go in and look at all the coaches. There's 20 of us. So you go in, you'll read through the biographies, and you'll get to decide your top 3, okay? And when you find 3 that resonates with you, you will send me an email, or send Pat. I would suggest you send me an email, because she's really, really busy, with what your top 3 choices are, okay? And I'll send out a reminder, when I get everyone's emails, I'll send out a reminder, you know, what that's all about. But quickly, I'm going to need you to get on that website and do that quickly, because at the kickoff meeting, which is next Tuesday, I will be introducing what those matches are, because I just don't have enough time to get back to you after you tell me what those selections are prior to that. Normally, we have time where I do that, and you have time to kind of call them and say, hey, I matched up with you, Match.com or eHarmony, or here we are based on characteristics. But that's not going to happen. So, you have another question I can tell.
This program will be completed and available by then?
Well, what's going to happen is we're going to have to do this in conjunction with everything else, because everything's gotten compressed. Normally, the disc would be done, you'd have your Skype, you'd have your welcome packet complete. I mean, your welcome packet has to be complete, but bear with me on this time, because the disc probably won't occur. It might be like 1 or 2 weeks into the coaching process, which is fine. It's still early enough to do that, but that's why I need to know at the end of today if you still want to participate, because then I'm going to be sending you out like a little packet in an email saying, okay, here's your link, here's this information, this is, you know, so then we can get you rolling, okay? So yeah, it's gonna be tight, but it'll all work out. It really will, because you can utilize that even in midstream, you know, whatever the disc profile is. So, but we'll get the disc profile going. We'll get the workshop going in this month, as early as possible this month, because you'll have good November, December, and a little bit of January to be doing your coaching. So that'll be good. So the kickoff meeting is the 22nd, and then the coaching sessions will start officially on the 23rd. We're going to run them until January 17th. Normally we would have had it done by December, but because of the time frame changes, that's what happened. One of the main things I need to tell you, and the coaches have been advised, and I'll be going through this in a minute, there is a welcome packet. And what it is, it's actually it's information that has to be completed prior to coaching started, because there's a legal part, there's a liability part, and there's insight part, and I'll go through that in a minute, what that packet's all about, okay? So before you sit down and have a first coaching session, that packet has to be completed, okay? That's a must. And then November, December, we might also offer some additional workshop topics. It could, some webinars, phone discussions, that type of thing, because other coaches have expressed interest in providing some pro bono workshops that might be of interest to you, so you can go in and sign up when you want. And then the tentative date for the commencement is January 21st. But like I said, we'll see based on availability and what really shakes out, how that all comes to play and where that's going to be. But the three things that have to be completed at that point are your goal achievement, the program survey, and then any other cleanup at that point. Okay. Yes.
So basically, you go in and you choose your top 3 choices.
I'll show you how to do it.
And then of those top 3 choices, one is assigned to you. Then the time frame of the coaching, the hour per week, is decided between you and your coach.
Exactly.
It's not a designated time of every...
Do you want to come up here and do it? I'm serious. You got it. Like, you got it. You got it. You got it.
well,
Yeah.
okay.
But see, okay, so I was going to go through the matching process, but in the introduction of the matching process, I'm going to give you a top overview of what happens, okay? And then we'll go through the flow chart. All right. With the matching process, we've done it a couple different ways. The program's been in place for about 3.5 years. We've done it a couple different ways, okay? The first one was Pat and I sat, based on your background and what coach we had, put you guys together, have at it, okay? So you didn't have say, the coach didn't have say. That didn't so much work. So then we went in and because the coaches have expertise in experience and stuff like that, then we had the coaches come in and say, okay, you pick who you think would be best that you could serve. That worked to a point, but again, remember, coaching's about relationship. So then I said to Pat, well, you know what? It's all about the clients. The clients have to really decide. And I know you don't have a formal, hi, how are you? You sit down, have a cup of coffee prior, but it gives you, based on their biography and a picture, it gives you some insight as to their experience. And so we give the clients a chance now to go online, and now I'm a little more technologically advanced, and you can go on and you can literally see these people, and you get to choose. Now, the caveat to all this is, depending on because we've tried to get 20 coaches and 20 clients. Obviously, if the world aligns properly, everybody gets 1-to-1. What happens is your number one choice might be somebody else's number one choice, who might be somebody else's number one choice. So based on, because Pat and I have a mathematical background, I have an algorithm behind the scenes that I put people together. So once you pick your choices, we'll roll it all up, spit it out, and then we kind of do a qualitative review to say, okay, what makes most sense based on people. And then we have the final deciding factor, we being Pat and I, to say, this makes most sense that you get. Okay, so you might have gotten your second, and she might have gotten her third, and she might have gotten her first. But we try our best to stay within that top 3 that you picked. A couple occasions, because we've done this twice now, this process. A couple occasions, somebody's gotten their 4th, like not in their 3rd, they've gotten somebody else. And I have to say, our success rate of that process, because the first 2 processes, our success rate was maybe 50%, and then it kind of got to 60%. And if you're, a cerebral type person, you definitely want your percentages to be higher. So our success rate was 95% with this process. There was only 2 people that came back and said, I want a different coach, and then we were able to shuffle them around. And some coaches are willing to coach more than one client, so we can have some overlap. Okay, so that will occur. But you get to decide, you do the initial, we do our best to keep within that confine, but at the end, we make the final decisions. You know, we make the final matches, and then we'll provide you that information for that. Now again, it's gonna take the first 2 or 3 sessions.
To dance the dance.
Exactly, it's just like any relationship, right? It's like any relationship. So, you know, in some, you're on your best behavior, and then, you know, some clients, they don't show up, and then, you know, the coach has got to come back and say what's going on, you know, so and then there's other times where it's such a great connection, it works like magic, but we know it's going to happen. If you have an issue, even the coaches, we've already advised the coaches, if you don't feel there's a good match, you speak up, because Pat and I then will reassign you. It's not like you're thrown out of the program. The only way you're thrown out of the program is if you either don't call, you know, say if you have a meeting set and, you know, you don't call, you're kind of given the first grace of, okay, the second time, they'll try to make up the session, but three strikes you're out in the sense that it's obvious you're not committed if you're not making your meetings, you're not calling ahead of time, you're not, you know, that type of thing. And you, the client, you're in control of the schedule. You are required to contact your coach and get the ball moving. You're the one required to say, okay, because we're trying to support your schedule. So you need to say, look, I'm available Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday mornings, what we can work out. You know, some clients set up their schedule where, okay, let's map out the whole 12 weeks. This day, that time, this day, so it's all mapped out. Then other clients, they're just like, I need to go with the flow a little bit because my life is too crazy. So as long as we get like the 1 hour a week or whatever that is in, or whatever that sounds like to you guys. But you're in control of that. And we are giving you a gift of 12 hours of coaching. If you don't utilize it, then you don't utilize it. But you get 12 hours of coaching. If you're not being in integrity with the program, meaning that you're not showing up, you're not being accountable, because a lot of the coaches are going to bend over backwards and trying to make up that time. Okay, you're going to be like, oh, I missed this or I missed that. Can we do 2 sessions this week? And they're going to bend over backwards and they're going to try to do that for you. So don't abuse it, because it's about integrity, it's about accountability. So, I mean, yeah, we all have life going on, we all have emergencies, but if you have an emergency every week of your session, don't be surprised you might be kicked out. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm sorry it sounds so blunt, but it has to be that way, because there's some people that are like, oh, it's like, it doesn't work that way. These people are volunteering their time, okay? So I want to make sure that it's clear that this is your program, and you get to dictate, really, when you meet, where you want to meet, how you want to meet, that type of thing. We're just trying to give you the tools, you know, to be able to do that. So for the matching process, really quick, this is a quick little flow chart that I put together. We are in, okay, so this is where the fun part comes in. This is where I'm going to do my best to show you the website. Bear with me here. This one. Alrighty, look at this. Everybody see that? Woohoo! Who's that good-looking chick? No, sorry. Okay, so here, you're going to go into my website. So you see where on this I say www.lifescapespc.com. I have it on the matching process, okay? So you can type that in up on your browser. You know, it will be up in here. And what's going to do, it's going to bring you into this program. Okay. All right. I'm sorry this is so large, but all right. So what it does, it introduces the program, and I would suggest you read through it. But in the middle, you see where this says members only? Click here. That's you guys. So you get to click here, and this is where you're going to go see the bios. All right. So write this down. I didn't write this down because this isn't for everybody to see. This is only for you guys. Okay. So the username to get in is welcome, all lowercase. Okay? The password, all caps, no dashes. U, the letter U, GOTACE, C-O-A-C-H. You got a coach. All right, so what I've tried to do, all right, so up here, there's a copy of the timeline. It's outdated, I'm sorry. The client coaching matching process, a little outdated because of the timing. The welcome packet, I added some things, so I'll update that for you prior to you filling it out. And here you click on coach biographies. So, where's the pictures? Oh, here we go. Okay, so what happens is you will get a picture, the name, the location where they're at. So for me, I'm in Pittstown, New Jersey. My specialty, business, career, college coaching. And then I give a little bit of blah, 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 blah about myself. Okay, but read this. She is available to coach one client a session, either face-to-face, phone, Skype during weekdays and weeknights. Pay attention to what their availability is, because if you can only do during the day and they can only do at night, guess what? Ain't gonna work. So there's 20 coaches, or 21, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm going kind of fast. We have one gentleman who wanted to coach this session. I told him, come on along, because you guys, it's good to get a guy's perspective on some things. So if you feel comfortable after reading his background, he's a real nice guy. He's a cake coach. A cake coach, he works with people who does bakeries and cakes and gets women, it's primarily for brides, getting them ready for weddings. So he calls himself the cake coach. So he works with women all the time. Awesome guy, awesome guy. So I'm just giving a little plug here. But anyway, that's where you will go in and you will see all the coaches. It might take you a little time to get through everybody, but then from there, I want you to email me, and on the card, I'll write this out. It's email me at Pam at, and it's lifescapespc.com. And it's on my card. It's on the card that I gave you. Okay.
Does it say how they're available to coach? Is
Yep.
it sent by phone, sent by?
Yeah, they all have it. They all have it on the down here. They're all set up the same. So they give the blah, 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 and then they say, look, Karen's available to coach one client by phone, Skype, some mornings or weekday evenings. So some mornings, so you need to talk to her about what mornings they are, kind of thing, yeah. So, but they all have the same, they're introducing their credentials, they're giving you a little bit of background about their experience, they tell you something warm and fuzzy about, their life and their husband and kids and animals, and then they'll tell you how they can provide their coaching services. So, sound good? Okay, let me get out of that. I want to go back to my presentation from current slide. All right, so then when you email me, and I have to have your selections. I prefer the 19th, but I'm giving you to the 20th. So get them back to me as soon as possible, because it's really the kickoff meeting that I'll be providing your matches, both for the coaches too. Because traditionally, I like to try to give people a week ahead of time so you had an opportunity to talk to them or something over the phone prior to the kickoff meeting, so you feel a little comfortable, but you're really not going to know what you're going to match up to until the kickoff meeting, but that's okay. An element of surprise is always good. All right, so the critical piece of information that has to be submitted to me, either electronically or in hard copy, is the welcome packet. Okay, because this welcome packet is going to be, it's a confidential document for Pat and I, but the internal workings of it will go to your coach. And the signed version in the back is more for legality, liability purposes. Okay, so let's walk through it really quickly. So if you're looking at the first page, this is all the blah, blah, welcome, welcome. Second page is your personal information. That personal information stays confidential with Pat and myself. It does not go anywhere. I needed to contact you in a case of emergency, coaches, et cetera, et cetera. So fill that out in its completeness as possible. Now I'm going to update this on the website because I added some things. You can access this from the website, or you can have me email it to you, because you don't have to handwrite this out. You can go ahead and type, once you get it electronically. And we recommend you do it electronically. Because on the third page, it gets into what's called reflection questions. This is where we're starting from the inside out, okay? This is where we start asking those hard questions, kind of about who you want to be, where you're going to go. It's important for the coach to see this prior to coaching him, okay? So that's the next 2 or 3 pages. And again, it can be short and sweet. You don't have to write a book. We're not looking for your whole life story. We're just looking to get a sense as to the surface of where you're coming from, you know? Now, the next page, which is page 6, is guidelines. This is very important that you read through. These are kind of legalities, expectations, guidelines. I might not have an opportunity to put your start date and your coaches at that point, but traditionally that's what we would do for you. Page 7 and page 8 are the key pieces of information that need to be reviewed and signed. So the coaching agreement, the coach is agreeing to do those 5 items, and you as the client are signing up to be accountable for those 4 items that we list out there, okay? The last page is just the legality of, yes, I'm signing up for the program, and I am going to do these 3 required things, which was the satisfaction survey, the achievement form, and attending the critical meetings. And the coach has to sign it too, because the coach is also agreeing to show up and be your representative. So this is kind of the whole program's document. That's important. I really did a data dump on you guys. It was a lot of information. I'm sorry I had to do it so quickly. I know we're in a condensed time frame. The program is really awesome. We've gotten some really great feedback from it. I hope you consider wanting to proceed with it. What we will do is I'm going to upload this video. Hopefully I did it right. And we'll be in touch. I know Pat has all the email addresses, and what I will do is I'm going to send you a follow-up email, okay, kind of introducing you to the program again, asking you, do you agree to participate? And then I need to hear back from you to say yes, and then you'll have to let me know, do you need this emailed, because everything's going to be pretty much on my website. I'm going to upload as much as I can on the website, and I'll let you know when it's available. But to get you started, the key things are, the first thing I need to know is, yes, I want to participate, okay? The second thing is, if you want to participate, you want to get a jump start, start looking at those biographies and get me your top 3 coaches, okay? The next thing, if you really want to be ahead of the curve, you can fill out the welcome packet. Already have that done, because you're going to have that completed at the kickoff meeting before we move forward anyway. And then from there, I'll get you set up on the DISC survey, and then we can start working from there. I will outline this in an email, so it's clear, it's in writing, and then all I'm looking for you guys to do is the first week or so into this, it's going to be quick. It's going to be like, oh my God, I got so much stuff I got to do. But once you get past the kickoff meeting, you'll get into a groove. It'll be a nice groove with your coach, and it'll be more to your time frame.
So we can bring this completed to you next week, or do you want us to email it ahead of time?
Whatever you want, as long as I have it at the kickoff meeting.
Okay.
I need it at the kickoff meeting. Like I said, give me some time to upload it, but if you want it quicker than that, I can email it to you. It's not like it's a big deal. I'm going to be sending you an email anyway, especially for the people who missed this. They're going to have to view the video and go through all of this to make sure that they're in agreement with this too, to be able to participate prior to kickoff meeting. So, yes.
Okay, so this welcome packet here is a hard copy, but you mentioned earlier that you updated it on, so is this the updated version? Or
That's the updated one that you have as a hard copy. Okay. I need to get it onto the website only because, and I'll tell you what I added. And the reason I did it, because I guess got a corporate background, I added the requirements, which is the completion of this, the completion of that, the 3 bullet points on the back. Okay. Because sometimes when somebody signed, in the past, and I've asked them to do something, they're like, well, you never told me, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you sign off on it, you read it.
So this is fine to use this hard copy that we have today and bring it on Tuesday.
But I don't want you to have to handwrite it. I'd rather email it to you unless you want to handwrite it, because unfortunately for me to get it to your coach who might be remote, then I gotta fax it to them. It's so much easier if it's an electronic document,
Okay,
so I can email it to you. So, but I'm working on the web, I'll have everything updated today, so when I send you out the email, then everything will be updated on the website.
okay.
So you guys have to tell me what your tolerance level is for the media, because I have to tell you, I'm learning myself here on what makes sense for a lot of people. Some people like to handwrite, and I get that. But in order to disseminate the information quickly to the coaches, we're in the 21st century, it's gotta be, you know,
Well, we can also handwrite it, scan it in, and email it to you.
you could do that too. I'm just concerned about handwriting. My
Oh,
handwriting's
okay.
like, you know, like the doctor, and it's just, and then
Okay.
sometimes the coaches are like, they can't really read it, and so I'm just trying to head everything off at the pass, you know, okay, so. Any other questions?
I just want to make a comment. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to yourself, to NORWESCAP, and to United Way. This is amazing.
Great,
Yeah.
I'm glad you find it that way, I really am.
I'm excited.
Good.
So thank
Oh,
you.
definitely.
Good.
This is
And
exciting.
I appreciate you guys, you know, showing up, being here, that's what it's all about. So thank you so much for your time.